I keep moving the camera, and it's Logitech or shit. I spent like $100 on this thing, and I mean that's not a lot of money to spend, but for a tiny little webcam, $100 is pretty much, and you'd think it would work, but it doesn't. So that kind of ironically opens up the conversation here because we're going to talk about how negativity is actually your best friend and how I'm tired of all these life coaches and all these people being like, oh my God, don't be negative. Oh my God, think only positive. Oh my God, just be happy. So, no, Susan, because your happiness is that you live with your husband and he cheats on you and you drink too much all day long, but you live in a really expensive house and you drive a Porsche. Yeah, I don't think the sacrifice is worth it, Susan. Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to because that part that I just made up there about Susan, that's reality for a lot of people because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to be positive. Oh my God, positive? Me? I mean, just positive because, I can't handle the harsh vibes. I just don't want the harsh vibes. I want the positive. And like The Secret told me, like, positive, right? And then like Wayne Dwyer, oh my God, positive. And like so many things tell me to be positive. And they say, don't focus on the negative. Yeah, that's true. You don't really want to dwell on it, but you fucking sure as hell want to use it to your advantage. And because you want to use it to your advantage, I suggest you start paying attention to it. I have made videos about this before because essentially, the best way to notice why things aren't good is by looking at yourself. That is, self-reflection is literally the entire career that Carl Jung built for himself. Self-reflection is why I can make you, way happier using Reiki. Um, Self-reflection is why a lot of people fail in their lives. Um, Again, a prime example is Susan because Susan, she ignores the negative because Susan wants only to focus on the positive, and what she's focusing on is that Susan has this nice big house, and Susan drives her Porsche, and Susan's husband, fucks the 16 or well, whatever, fucks the babysitter kind of deal, and or his secretary, whatever works for you in terms of not being, triggered. So he fucks his secretary who's 24 and, Susan's 40. And so Susan puts up with it because Susan has a Porsche, she has a nice house, she has all of the external experiences of being positive, none of the internal, none of the emotional experiences of being positive. So Susan continues to live in a negative situation no matter how positive she thinks that she can make it. And that's where people fail themselves because people think, oh, yeah, I'm just going to focus on the positive. I'm just going to be, super positive. And then they end up fucking themselves over because they hit a limit. Yeah, they got the boyfriend and, he makes the money and they can just, whatever, and that's fine. But the reality is that they've settled and they've settled because they are like, oh, this part, and this part lines up to the status quo, but yeah, the rest of it doesn't, and you're emotionally dead. I mean, look at the business world. Look around any major city when lunch happens. Look how many people in suits are literally emotionally dead inside. The walking apocalypse of zombies. It's not just millennials on cell phones. It's the entire fucking Wall Street, not the entire, but like I'd say 80% of Wall Street looks like they're probably dead inside. When you deal with government agencies and all the stereotypes of that, most of those people are dead inside. And you have to wonder why. And why is it that they're dead inside? Well, they're dead inside because they focused on the positive and they ignored the negative, and then they fucking, they topped out. And when they topped out on something that was bearable to them as far as being happy. And instead of, doing the thing that mattered and doing the thing that really matters, and I'm going to get into that in another video, they just accepted that, this is as happy as they were going to be. They were going to have a house, they were going to have a car, and they were going to have, 2.5 kids and a mortgage, and, that was just going to be their life. But hey, they've got 2.5 kids, they've got a house, they've got a mortgage. Yeah, they fucking made it. Oh, okay. So that's what positivity looks like. That's what happiness looks like. That's what, avoiding negativity looks like. Because fuck, you're actually so full of negativity. It's disgusting. You're stuck in a house that you don't want. You have kids that now you're like, oh, fuck, it's 18 years. And you have a car that you're like, oh, shit, I just damaged it. And that damage is going to cost me more than, like, I need at this moment. And I'm now struggling paycheck to paycheck, credit card to credit card. And I'm trying to get everything moving around. But fuck me, I'm happy because I have a car, I have a wife, I have 2.5 kids, and I have a house. Yeah, I'm actually very happy. Yeah, absolute fucking liars. So how do you do it? Well, you look around you first off, and you think, okay, X, Y, and Z situations aren't happy. They don't make me happy. They're not fulfilling. Some after work ABC situations kind of work for me, kind of don't. But, there's Bob down the street. We go to the garage, we get drunk, and we talk about, whatever for, that's my Friday evening, and just getting drunk by myself with my neighbor so that I can come home, forget that I have all these other things going on, and avoid my life and wake up in the morning and have a possible hangover, but definitely be off my game. And so if I'm off my game, I'm a little bit less inclined to be even happier. So yeah, let's start there. Okay, so you have a job. You wanted the job. You got the job out of school. You went to school for it. You thought this would be fantastic, and then you ended up in a corporation or a company or a group of people, office floor, whatever, and you're surrounded by people that you can't stand. And you're dealing with this 40 hours a week, maybe more if you're putting in the burning the midnight oil. And yet somehow you continually tell yourself that the house, the car, the wife, the kids, that's all worth it. Or the husband, the kids, and the house, and the car, whatever. I don't care what your sex is. Please don't get hung up on the sex. But this is what you're striving towards. This is what you think happiness looks like, because this is what you've been told happiness looks like. TV shows like Weed, they show you Los Angeles and they pan out, and it's this fucking disaster of humanity where all of these houses look the same. All of this, it's all built by the same developer. It's all made by, to look the same. In my city, there's this little area called River Bend, and it's horrifying because River Bend is the same fucking house. Like, the only difference between this house, and this house is the position of a couple windows upstairs and the shade of blue on the house. And it is literally like blocks and blocks, like probably 2 miles of this shit. And the first time I got back to this city and I went through there, I wanted to throw up because that's not happiness. Sameness isn't happiness. And so I'm losing track, but negativity. So now you've got all these negative things because your entire life is nothing but negativity. Well, how did you get there? Well, you got there. You made choices. Okay, so you made all these choices, but I mean, you made the choices that you knew were going to make you happy, but you're not happy. So how did these choices happen? Well, at some point, you started believing that happiness was a status symbol. Happiness was marriage, happiness was kids, you kept feeding all of the emptiness inside of you with external things to make you feel better and happier and whole. And then all of a sudden, once you had all of these external stimuli, that all caught up to you, and then you were even more unhappy. So when you're looking to become happy, look at your attitude towards the people you work with, the people you're surrounded by, the situations you're in, and the reactions that you're creating within yourself about that. There's a dude on Facebook, and he's constantly coming at me like the biggest douchebag, and I'm like, you are fucking hilarious, because I have had a day today where I watched this video on YouTube, and it was so stupid. It was like 30 seconds of a guy, like there was a fight in McDonald's, and this got on like drunk people doing stupid things or whatever. And anyways, but it had made it to Instagram a couple different versions of this situation. And anyway, so this guy's like on his phone and he's ordering at the McDonald's, right? And so he's on his phone, and so you can see him ordering. And then he kind of goes over here, and the guy over here, he's in a chokehold, right? So he's in a chokehold, like being subdued. And the camera comes back, is like, I'm just gonna go to do my food here. And then he goes over here, and over here, there's a guy being held back by a bunch of other people who's screaming at the guy in the chokehold, wanting to get back into a fight with him. And then the guy pans back and he's like, I'm just going to keep ordering my food, none of my business. And for some reason, I don't know what it was, but it was fucking hilarious. I literally cried. I was crying because I was laughing so hard. And then I post this thing about how your thoughts are circular, and this guy comes at me, he's like, you post shite and blah blah blah. And then I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, pearls before swine. Let those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Let those who have eyes to see, let them see. Jesus loves you. Like, why are you a douche? What is this doucheness? But he doesn't get it. He doesn't get that attacking people is a representation of his inner self. He doesn't get that all of his need for status is to fill this empty void inside of himself. And when he sees this video, if he actually does watch this video and gets this far into it, he's going to call me a liar. He's going to be like, you're a fucking loser. You're a weirdo, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to be like, but see, there's a difference. I used to be like you. And then I got happy. I stopped attacking people. I stopped being miserable. I started laughing. Do you know what it's like to actually have like 3 days in a row where you're literally brought to tears every day because you're laughing? Because shit is going that good. Yeah, that's why negativity is your friend, because I use negativity to get here. I use negativity. I use everything that you are never, ever, ever, ever supposed to do according to these new age fucking philosophers and whatever bullshit idiots are out there, like Wayne Dwyer and all these people who only give you a quarter of the story. They don't even give you maybe a half of the story. They give you a quarter. But anyways, but I did the opposite. I went completely against the stream and I started doing everything that they say don't. Everything that they're like, oh, if you want a fulfilling life, if you want this, if you want that, don't be negative. Don't focus on the negative. No negative, no negative. Yeah, you know what's happening? My psychic abilities are getting stronger and stronger, literally like leaps and bounds daily. Um, the lucid dreaming is absolutely fucking insane. I'm talking to angelics in my dreams. I'm trying to get back in touch with my spirit guide, who's basically at this point, I think he's an ascended master or a secret chief is what they might call him, or he's at least connected to the secret chief. But anyways, all of these things are happening. Why are these things happening? They're happening because I lived in the darkness. I said that I had to change, and I looked at what needed changing. And you know what needed changing? My attitude, how I saw the world, what I believed, everything. So I went inside, and I started dealing with it from there, because the only person that was being a douche to other people was me. The only person getting shit on for being a douche was me. The only problem wasn't the world, it was me. And so, like, Anise Ann says, the world is, we see things not as they are, but as we are. Yeah. So when you're attacking people, that's because you feel afraid, because you don't understand something, because you feel stupid, you feel inferior, you feel whatever. The internet is great for that. And so when you're, sitting there and you're in a crowded area like a mall, whatever, and you're getting frustrated and you're triggered and all these things, that's all on you. Nothing else is happening. It's just you. Everyone else is doing their lives. Maybe there's some other triggered people around you. Doesn't really matter. The only person that's getting frustrated and upset is you. So, what's the point of living with that shit? I mean, that's fucked up. Why would you want to? I mean, everybody does. Like Americans and their awesomeness with celebrity. As soon as a celebrity acts human, oh my God, they freak out. And they get angry, and they get so angry. And it's like, but why? What is it about the celebrity that triggers you so badly that they're being human? That they made a mistake? Is it because you don't want to believe that you make mistakes? Like, you know what I mean? So I suggest that you study some basic Jungian psychology, and you start to control the fact that everything is you. And that if you understand that negativity is your best friend, yeah, get in there, because that negativity is your salvation. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them on the bottom of the video. And yeah, thanks for watching. But remember, everything you've heard out there about what to do to make a better person out of yourself, oh, a lot of it's bullshit. And the reason it's bullshit is because it doesn't actually get into what's going on as a consciousness. And hopefully over the next week or so, I will be able to start showing you guys with my fabulous drawings that we've seen before. So anyways, Yeah. Bye.